Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Mycelia. Mycelia is a game designed by and illustrated by J.J. Neville from Splitstone Games. Plays 1 to 4 players, 40 to 90 minutes, ages 10 and up. All that's probably accurate. And effectively what you're doing in this game is you are taking on the role of a mother mushroom. It's kind of weird. But you're mushrooms, and you are basically trying to spread your spores around this board to be able to fruit new mushrooms. Certain mushrooms need to be on certain color spaces on the board. If you have spores on those spaces connected in your network, you can fruit a mushroom, and then you're going to be sporing those mushrooms, trying to get them to decay, give you special powers throughout the game, and all that kind of stuff. That's a simple overview of kind of what you do in the game. But if you want to see how it actually works, you can click the link in the video description, and I'll play through, 3-4 rounds out of a shortened game, and you can see how it all works if you care. If not, stick around here, and we'll take a look at the components. Alright, let's look at the components for Mycelia. First off, this box is cool. That's a cool mushroom there. It's from Splitstone Games and Burnt Island. This one doesn't have Burnt Island on it, but I know they're doing a partnership now. Like the art, I'm pretty sure the designer there does the art of the game as well, which the mushrooms look like the mushrooms look. We Googled a lot of them when we were playing, and that's cool. So I like the box. Now let's look at the main part of the game that people actually care about. We have these insect tokens here, which are just white cardboard with insects on them. They're not great, but they serve their purpose. The tiles are really nice. They're triangle tiles with different different way the wind goes, different colors, and if they get an insect on them, they'll have the little insect thing there. These are nice. They're fun to piece together. The board looks really neat when you're building it out here like this. So that's really fun. I think the board looks awesome as you're building it. These are the mother mushroom pieces and the actual mushroom pieces. So I'm not going to dig a whole bunch of these out of the box, but all the mother mushrooms look like that, just different colors. And everybody has 5 of these to represent the mushrooms that are on their board over here. So you can see the player board's really neat. Let me bring this over. The player board is really cool. It's going to have a place to put mushrooms on top, like this, so you know that you're using it. And you're going to, how many times you can spore it. So if I spore this twice, I know I can't do it anymore. Then there's a place under it, which is actually recessed, which is pretty neat on the back, that you can tuck and get the decaying function working. Of course, this is not cooperating with the light and the glare. But yeah, you can tuck those under there and see all of them, and it frees up the board. That's really cool. The components of this are top-notch. Play rate is really solid. Once you learn the game, everything you know is right there. The wind can get a little confusing, so that helps right there. How the wind function works, what the insects do, how a network works. All the main questions that you have once you know how to play this game will be answered on this. So this is fantastic. All the mushrooms have really cool art. And again, like I said, the designer did the art. These actually look like the mushrooms that they are. We Googled some of them, and this mushroom was serious. One top of this thing can kill a human. That's a mess. But yeah, I like the art. The iconography on the card is easy to read. So you got points, what it takes to build it, how many times it spores, and then what it does when it decays. So yeah, kind of Wingspan-esque the way the cards work, but I really dig it. So components are good. Rule book is small but simple. Gives you good examples. It could have a play rate on the back. That would be nice, but again, it has nice play rates there. Gives you all the components. Shows you a setup. Picture of setup is nice. Not every rulebook does that. How you explore, all the rules, examples of how to move, examples of the wind, because the wind is the most complicated part. How to use spores, how to distribute the spores with the winds, how your mushrooms can take over other people's spores. Super solid rule book, no issues there. Even some factoids of some mushrooms in the back, a couple pages. So yeah, no issues. Card quality's nice. Is it win and finish? It is lightly linen finish, so yeah, those are nice quality cards. Cubes are cubes. Whole pile of tiles. Yeah, overall the components are pretty solid, so I have no complaints. So those are the components for Mycelia. Let's talk about what we think about the game. Alright, so Mycelia is a game that Katie got me for Christmas. She saw it, and I stood there while she was learning about it at Origins, I think, last year, Gen Con, one of the two. And it looked really interesting. The player boards looked fascinating. The mushrooms on the player boards, the way that you put stuff out on the board to make it work, all looked fascinating. And this game is fascinating, but at its heart, it is kind of an abstract game. You're growing these mushrooms on this board, you're putting cubes down, and you're trying to create networks of cubes so you can spin those spore cubes to be able to place more mushrooms. You're trying to get as many mushrooms fruited and decayed as you can to score the most points. You're also trying to suck up some insects with your mother mushroom because they're going to help you in your journey to have to get more points and do better things, move other people's mushrooms off of yours, all that kind of thing. It's a nice puzzle. So we played it at 4, and I've played it at 2, and at 4 I will say it's better because the board works. The interaction on the board is a little bit more interesting. People will be putting spores all over these boards, and you can put mushroom right in the middle of this section of the board that has 4 different colors on it. All those spores are now yours that you can spin as long as your mushroom there. So the mother mushroom is more important. You're trying to get on top of that so you can have control of those spores. You're trying to break people's networks. The board is where the game really takes place, but you also have your own mushrooms on your own player board that are going to help you spore, going to give you special powers, give you extra things that happen when they decay. And it's just a race to try to manage the board, the spores, as efficiently as you can and win. That's it. Once so many get decayed, that triggers the end of the game. There's nothing that I have found that I don't like about this game. Maybe the board looks a little busy with 4 players because there's a lot of spores, you got to look at the board and can try to connect networks a lot. But once you're looking at it, you can look at it on other people's turns. It's mostly going to stay the same unless somebody like fruits a mushroom. You can look at it, you can kind of plan ahead, but that's my only real negative is the board is a little bit busy. Some people had issues with the wind die because it's random. It's nature. Mushrooms take place, happen in nature. They're going to go where the wind blows. I think it's thematic. You can hedge your bets and you can put tiles around where you're going to spore. So no matter what way the wind blows, you're going to be able to at least spore an additional spore. So yes, it's lucky. Yes, there's a little bit of randomness, but you can mitigate it a little bit. You can be in the center of the board where it doesn't necessarily matter, but you can also take over other people's spores. So you can basically at any time you want, get what you need, whether or not the wind die boned you or not. So I don't think it's an issue. But all that being said, I will say this game is fantastic and I love it. Again, it's mostly an abstract game, but it's a nice little puzzle that I enjoy. I love the thematic, the way the mushrooms work. The art on the mushrooms is fantastic. The rule book is great. It's just solid, just fun. So I'm going to give this a BGM acceptance seal. It's going to get an 8 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 4 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing. But we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that is what I'm going to do. So that is Mycelia from Splitstone Game and Burnt Island Games. I don't know if I said that at the beginning, but if I didn't, Burnt Island Games. And I'm Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.